No one really talks about the difficulty of entrepreneurship, and in this video I want to break down 6 common pains that entrepreneurs face and also how you can handle them. Just for context, my name is Grant Singh. I'm the founder of G-Team Academy. I run an academy with over 50 entrepreneurs. We do a lot of business consulting to help founders that are literally just starting out all the way to founders that are multi-millionaires, literally help them to scale their business easier by giving the right direction and guidance that they need. And often what they do struggle with is managing these pains. So today I'm going to be breaking down a little bit more about that and what you can do to solve them. Pain number 1 is that people don't always support your decision. I had this when I first got into entrepreneurship. My parents were quite reluctant in me doing something, putting myself out there, trying to start something new that wasn't really the norm. So just for context, I was studying engineering while I was at university, and that's when I started getting into the business space, and I was like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to go, this is the path that I want to go down. Hearing that my family weren't that supportive, even when I started posting, friends, you often feel like, am I making the wrong choice? People don't believe in me. Am I stupid for not believing in myself? And often when you start out, you're met with a lot of adversity, a lot of different problems. So that belief that other people have often seeps into your own mind, and you start thinking, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. So that was the first pain that I had. And the only way that I genuinely think you can solve this is by just playing out the alternatives. Look, these people think, I'm not great. These people don't really believe in me. What can I do about that? Should I just listen to them? And if I listened to them, I would have just I would have had a job in engineering, and I would have just pursued that, and I wouldn't have been happy with that kind of lifestyle. That's not what I wanted for myself. That thought process of just thinking about, well, what if I don't pursue entrepreneurship? That alone was enough for me to think, okay, well, I should pursue entrepreneurship. I should do the thing that I genuinely care about, that I think is going to have the best outcome for me. That's what kept me grounded. I didn't want the alternative path. So that's the first thing in terms of just think about, well, what's the alternative? You can either endure the laughs and potentially have a great life that you really love, or you can give into what other people are saying and then kind of resent yourself and resent everyone else for not letting you achieve the dreams that you want. It's not great. Yeah. So that's pain 1 and how I would deal with it. Pain number 2 is that you feel overwhelmed, and as a result, you end up getting stuck. As an entrepreneur, you have a load of responsibilities that you have to deal with. You've got marketing, sales, client delivery, you've got operations, you might have a team that you have to deal with, you might have bills that you have to sort out, your personal health that you have to sort out, and all these different things can really easily make you feel overwhelmed. The way that I try to prioritize, and the thing that I think has helped me a lot, is I say, okay, what's one thing that I really want to move forward that I'm willing to invest a lot of time into? And the rest of the things I just put into maintenance mode. So one's active focus and everything else is maintenance mode. So for example, I might be working on the business, but I need to take care of my health, I need to take care of my sleep, I need to do things with my family. And I say, okay, well, which one of these things can I actually prioritize? I can't prioritize all of them, not to the extent that I probably want to. So which one am I going to make the biggest priority? So when you feel overwhelmed, firstly, accept the fact that you're not going to be able to manage everything. But then also, to make this more practical, write out what does committing to one thing and making one thing the priority look like, and what does maintenance look like for all the other priorities that you have. And you might hate that. You might have a girlfriend, a boyfriend that you're like, I wanted to give more time to them. You might have other things that you want to get done. You might want to go on holiday, you might want to go out with your friends, all these different things. You can't do it all. That's just a reality. I wish it wasn't the case where you had to just focus on one or two things, but it just is. We have limited time, limited resources, so we have to be able to prioritize. That's pain number 2. Now moving on to pain number 3. Pain 3 is that you're doing the work, but you're not seeing any results. Now this is particularly painful at the start of your entrepreneurship journey. The reason why is because you're probably waiting so that you can pay bills. You're probably waiting because you want to see some sort of results. But the truth is, things take longer than you probably expect them to, because this is your first time doing something. The analogy that I like to use for a lot of entrepreneurs is, think about when you got a degree. Think about when you did your A-levels. If I said at the start of your A-levels, you're going to become a doctor in 3 months, you'd be like, what are you talking about? There's no way. I need to do all this training. I need to understand all these different things. And business is no different. It's not just going to happen overnight. You have to learn a lot of different components. You have to be able to understand the different elements of what a business looks like. The reason why you think that that's not the case is because you keep looking online for people that are saying that you can get rich within 3 months, you can get rich within 2 days, and all this stuff, and you're just like, oh, well, I can just make passive income. And it's just setting an unrealistic expectation. And as a result, you start acting in a way that will never get you to your goal. You don't have the patience that you need to have where you understand, okay, I'm actually building a business. It's going to take me time because there's lots of skills that I don't have. I don't even know what I need to know. And when you think about it, when people go to university, they have teachers, they have lecturers that tell them, do this thing, then do this thing, then do this thing. As an entrepreneur, you often don't have that. You don't know what the next thing is that you have to do. You have to figure that out. And you have to figure it out from an array of different things that you could do. So not only have you got to learn by yourself, you've also got to choose what to learn by yourself, which makes things so much harder. You have to be able to just accept that some things take longer than you might want. And that's it. That's just the way that life works. The things that you need to do is 1, reset the bar, and 2, make sure that you're actually doing as much as you can. I work long hours, I work hard. At the end of each day, I feel like I'm putting in as much as I can. And if I'm putting in as much as I can, that should be the goal. Not the finance, not the outcome, but me doing as much as I can. The input. But this is why people say love the process, because if you love the result, you'll constantly be waiting for it and then you'll get frustrated when you don't have it. But if you love the process, you'll stick with it longer and you'll stop relying on some outcome to make you feel good about yourself. So that's pain 3 and how you deal with it. Pain number 4 is that you can't keep everything under your control. Now the simple answer to this problem is that you can't control everything. This goes within your normal life. This is going to go within your business life. This is going to go within relationships. Everything that you do, you can't control everything. So you have to accept, okay, there's only a limited number of things that I can control. Which of these am I going to focus my attention on? I can focus on how much time I'm putting into the business. I can focus on what tasks I'm going to work on. I can focus on structuring my calendar in a way that's most productive for me. These are the things that are within your control. Focus on them and stop trying to worry about fixing every single thing within your business, because your business will never be perfect. People don't tell you this. There isn't a single business in the world that is bulletproof. And even when you look at the biggest businesses in the world, right? If you think about like Amazon and Tesla and things like that, a lot of the time they're only big for about 50 to 60 years. Jeff Bezos talks about this. He says even the biggest businesses, they have a limited time span. They're only big for a certain number of time, and then they can't pivot quick enough. They don't have the right brands to be able to like shift towards what customers need, and competitors end up taking over. And you're sitting there thinking, oh well, I should be able to control everything within my business. The landscape of business is moving so fast, you will never be able to control everything. Just keep in mind that not everything has to be perfect. Just the important thing that matters is actually what matters. And I know that seems obvious, but often it's not when it comes to practicality. That was pain number 4. Now moving on to pain number 5. Pain number 5 is no one sees how hard you really work. Now, just to give you an example, 2 days ago, I was working until 11 p.m., right? I started work about 7:30, 8 o'clock. This was difficult for me, where I was working all day. And even like my team, even Adnan, he didn't see that I was working so hard. Like he knows that I'm working hard and like doing all the extra stuff outside of business hours. It just feels a lot of the time like you're the only one doing this. You're putting in so much time and effort for your business and people don't see it. And you're sitting there thinking, I feel like no one appreciates what I do. That's a normal feeling to have. I'm putting in loads of work. No one cares. No one sees it. No one understands how difficult it is. I get it. I really do. I still have that. And I think the reason why I have that is because I want someone to appreciate what I'm actually doing. I want someone to validate that this is the right thing to do. I want someone to say like, look, you're doing the right thing. But in practicality, the mental shift that you need to have, that I feel like I've had and has been really helpful for me, is my own internal appreciation of myself. Instead of someone else saying it to me, I say things to myself. And the reason why is because I'll say to myself, if I'm going to bed, I'll be like, mate, you did a lot today. You know, you really worked hard today. And I might even say this out loud just to reaffirm how I feel about myself. And that to me is really important. The mindset that I build, the relationship that I have with myself, allows me to deal with the pain of no one seeing the work that I do, because I'm no longer worrying about, do other people see it? I'm worried about, what do I think about myself? And I make that a priority compared to how other people see me. That's pain number 5 and how I deal with it. Now, pain number 6, and this is a big one, you can't plan your life. As entrepreneurs, often we don't have the finances that we need. We don't have the time that we want to be able to do other things. And as a result, the rest of our lives kind of get put on pause for a while. And often it's longer than we expect. And this is often what a lot of entrepreneurs face. And then they quit the business because they feel like, well, I'm not getting what I want and everything else is on pause. And it's hard. And it's exactly what I've experienced, and Adnan's experienced this as well. When we get into business, you have to put a lot of things on pause. That's the cost. That's the trade that you're making. You're trading short-term gratification and pleasure for long-term benefits. If I wanted short-term gratification, I could get a job and get paid more instantly. But if I'm choosing to invest in long-term, the trade that I make is that I sacrifice things in the short term so that I can have more in the long term. And often people don't want to do that because they think, well, I want it now. Again, impatience. But it's really difficult for you to pursue a business for 2, 3, 5 years when you're not seeing the results that you want, because the hope that things are going to fix themselves in the future and then you can have a better life. If you're in this situation, there's 2 things that I ask you to do. Number 1, is this a permanent or is this a temporary position that you're in? If it's permanent, you need to fix something. You need to change something about your life. I had this with an entrepreneur. He's living in Thailand at the moment, and he was like, look, I feel like I'm putting my ability to enjoy Thailand on pause because I'm focusing so much on the business. And I was like, okay, the stuff that you're doing in the business, is that stuff that is like just going to be your routine for the next 3, 4, 5 years? Or is it stuff that it's going to be an intense phase and then you can like take your foot off the throttle? And he said, this is going to be permanent. I'm going to have to live like this for a while. This is just the way that the business is going to demand, like, my attention. If that's the case, you know it's not sustainable, so you need to make a change and allow yourself to enjoy things in the short term too. You need to create better balance. But if it's temporary, then you just kind of have to bite the bullet. Or you can choose to bite the bullet and say like, look, I can see that within the next 2 months, things are going to ease up and I can, start going out with my friends again. I can start going to the gym more. I can start doing all the other stuff that's important to me. But in the short term, I'm happy to make this sacrifice. Most entrepreneurs don't differentiate between whether they're going through a phase of intense work or whether their work itself is just going to be intense. And you handle these two problems differently. Because if you're worried about not being able to deal with your life in the future and you've got a permanent problem, you need to make adjustments now. But if it's an intense period, that might be when you're first starting out, then you can deal with that problem separately and differently. But most entrepreneurs don't differentiate between the two, and as a result, they don't make any changes or they don't make the right changes, and then they just overthink and then burn themselves out because they don't do anything about the fact that they've got these situations going on. These are the 6 pains that most entrepreneurs face. So if you're getting started in business, or even if you're a few years into business and you needed a bit of context in terms of like how should I deal with these issues, I hope this video helps you. If it did, I ask you please share it with someone that you know is also struggling with these pains to give them some peace of mind and help them out as well. So that's it from me. If you enjoyed this video, then definitely check out other videos that we've got on our channel. I'm sure if you enjoyed this video, you'll enjoy one of these too.